Hi, this is Dee with Divine Needle, and this is the last reading for today that they wanted me to do. This is the monthly. It is for the time frame of now through the end of October, Halloween. I watched a video reading on the astrology of the machine, the planets and their movements from now through December 20th, 21st. You know, that one reading, they were telling me about the 20th, 21st. And the year 2020 and 2021. But they're also telling me about December 20th and 21st. Anyway, the reading is about, or that link, a channel of a gal who I believe lives in Greece. I believe she was originally from Australia. That link, her name is Kathy, Miss Kathy. And the planetary reading, where she talks about the astrology between now and then, I watched that after I did these readings for you all. In between the last three, the daily, the rest of the year, and the weekly. And those planetary movements, the machine at work, match up with the dates they're giving me in the cards, the dates they're giving us in visions and dreams. And not just me, but others. So I provided a link to Divine Debut 11, a link to her planetary astrology for you all to look at in the Divine Instruction and Guidance video that I just posted today. So please take a look at that link. I'm going to put it in the video that I'm doing here too. But I did put it under the Divine Instruction and Guidance as well. Because when you go back to check that reading, look at the planetary alignments and what's happening and what she's talking about. And it lines up with what the cards are telling you. The machine at work. It's helpful because it'll help you understand what's happening so that you can remain calm and your heart is light as a feather. Okay? Anyway, so this is for the remainder of October. And of course, there'll be one for November and December. I believe that the readings are going to get really interesting. And the energy is going to get really interesting. One thing I noticed on the daily reading for today, and how the cards kept hanging up, and then those two reversed cards and what to be mindful of and prepare for. Delays, right? Delays. I think those cards, it happened twice. I think that was just signifying the delays. And I think the delay has everything to do with Mercury going retrograde. And it's in its shadow right now, in the shadow phase. And that's the phase where things go bananas for me. Not when it's in retrograde, but when it's in shadow, getting ready to go into retrograde. Fascinating stuff. But if you guys talk about your experiences with that in the comments, it'd be fascinating to see what your observations are too. But that's just what I've noticed. When it's in its shadow phase, getting ready to go to retrograde is when, whew, yeah, that's when I notice it. Anyway, this is for the rest of October 2020 for you guys. And, whew, yeah, these readings feel super important, so I will be keeping up with them. Here we go. What is our overall energy for the remainder of October through Halloween? And do remember, we have a full moon. Well, we've got a new moon on the 14th coming up. And then there's the full moon in Taurus coming up on Halloween. It's also a blue moon. An important night. Very important night. Also, it's interesting because when I was listening to her astrology on the planets and their movements, all the really important stuff seems to be landing on my children's birthdays. Why would that be? Fascinating. The other thing is, there was one more thing I was going to mention. Oh, Friday, the 13th of November. Another important day. I don't know if she caught that or not on her astrology. I might have to go back and look at that myself again. And for you guys to understand it, you may have to watch it more than once too. So watch it once, put it aside, mull it around in your head, listen to the readings that I'm doing, and then go back to it again. And you may have to do that multiple times to really take in the full scope of everything. Anyway, here we go. The rest of October, overall energy. Wow. Flipping in the deck. Holy moly. Okay. Age of Aquarius. Apocalypse. That's right. A new beginning in truth and clarity. Uh-huh. Woo. That's some amazing energy right there. All right. And what's our highest priority the rest of this month? What's our highest priority the rest of this month, please? What's our highest priority? Wow. Okay. I didn't know if I was supposed to take these, but I believe I am. Yeah. Okay. And what do we need to be mindful of and or prepare for the rest of October? One little card. Woohoo! Yes, and it's a good one. Okay, guys, hang on to your garter belts and your jock straps. Uh-huh. And there she is again. The golden shield. Queen of Wands. Just out of curiosity. Oh, and the Nocturne. And the Healer. Emperor. And the Angel. Alright. Always have to peek. It's no fun if we can't peek, right? It's no fun if we can't peek at that. The cards underneath, right? Wow. Wonder if you guys can hear that. Thump, 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 thump. It's music. Interesting timing. The homeless gal that we help out came by just a few minutes ago. I do worry about what's going to happen with her. Right now, we went through a cold snap where fall looked like it was fully setting in, but now we're back to another week of really warm. So, that's good, but I worry about her. I guess we'll see how that plays out and what we can do to help her. Right now we're helping 4 tiny kittens that were really sick and doing much better now. You would never know that they were looking at them now after a week with me, but they recover. They snap back very quickly. Okay, let's get into the reading. I don't know what made me talk about that, but maybe it's because you all should be extending your hearts to others, like the readings we're talking about. Doing what you can for others, at the same time maintaining your own balance and not letting the external illusionary world affect your internal lightness of your heart. Okay? Anyway, so there you go. The Golden Shield, underlying energy, power, and authority of fire. Fire! Gotta love it. Yes, yes, yes. The Golden Shield. You are shielded against those who are sending you psychic arrows of envy, ill will, resentment, someone who covets what you have, and who is just waiting for a vulnerable opening to strike. Now, this was in some of the other readings as well. Okay. Thus the Golden Shield defends you, and this is a spirit now making his presence known, so that the angelic power of fire can keep you safe, healthy, and flourishing. A male ancestor or one from your paternal lineage can appear to you through the Golden Shield. Sir Adonai. Notice the cross on the shield. Sir Adonai. Yeah. All right. What is that's underlying energy. So, that's what you have to be mindful of. Somebody's not got your best interest at heart. Overall energy for the rest of October, of course it was the Apocalypse card. We are in it. The Last Judgment, Key 20. Key 20. It'll be interesting to see how these cards come out between now and the end of the year. And even in the beginning of the year, January and February. They're going to be, it's, like I said, get your popcorn. Organic, please. Don't use the GMO stuff. Get your popcorn, because this is one hell of a time to be alive and incarnate on this planet. The Apocalypse. This is the spirit presented upon your path when you have arrived at a point of no return. What has transpired is now irreversible. The only way out is through. This is the moment of full realization for why all that has happened to you has happened. The Apocalypse is the spirit of revelation. That's right, the book of Revelations. when the answers that were hidden before are now obvious. This is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. A new beginning, the age of Aquarius, and the end of the age of Pisces. It is the Alpha and the Omega. When the apocalypse appears in divination with other cards, it adds emphasis of significant spiritual importance to those other cards. Pay closer attention when key 20 is present. The apocalypse is a mythic personification of an event horizon. This is a space-time in which no event that comes subsequent can affect the outcome, because all that could have affected it has either transpired or not transpired. The apocalypse card appears when you have crossed the boundary of where gravitational pull over you is such that turning back is impossible. Good. We want to move forward. We don't want to go backwards. Oh, heck no. We don't want to go back. Digging your heels on that idea, right? And the crown. The sword of destiny. There is going to be an extreme amount of truth and clarity in the remaining part of October 2020. It is 2020 vision, after all. It is where all things that were once hidden become revealed, the apocalypse, where all truth and clarity comes to light. For sure. Ace of Swords, the consummating sacred cinnabar. Whew! These are some powerful readings, I tell you what. Realization comes to you in an instant, and your knowledge will deepen. It's like the ah moment, the aha, the aha moment, right? Truth and clarity, the sword of destiny. Air is alchemizing in your world, materializing as intellectual property, achievement of glory, or social advancement. If you take up the sword to fight, to work, to invest the effort and toil, then victory will be yours. You conquer others when you conquer yourself. High achievement. Victory and glory. We will be having our Age of Aquarius. The way we want it, not the way anybody else does. Our highest priority the remainder of the month, starts with the burdened one, Ten of Scepters. The spirit resident in this card is the carrier of sorrows. The burdened one is oppression we bring onto ourselves when we don't temper, or when we have acquiesced to others using us as their beast of burden. The series of decisions you have made along the way have led up to this culminating point of unduly carrying the responsibility of others. Are the hands of spirit holding the rods to help you carry the weight of your load, or are the hands of spirit presenting the burden to you to test your strength, resolve, and perseverance? Is this a divine trial or divine assistance? Well, like I keep hearing, how we act in these days ahead directly reflect on what's going to happen. So I think it's a divine trial and divine assistance, both. The mystic rose at the center between the hands symbolize a secret, a mystery, indicating that you don't know everything. There are greater reasons for why you are where you are. There is purpose, and you are not yet privy to that purpose. The Ten of Scepters is the card of laborious task. So laborious task is our highest priority. Ooh, and I love this card, the Grotesque. Five of Chalices. Very good card. A lot of people see that and go, oh no, you know, crying over spilled milk card, right? Focusing on what you lack instead of what you have. But there's more. Yep, there is definitely more. The grotesque is loss after waning of joy, a personal feeling of disfigurement, a mystery, an unseen power rising. An unseen power is rising. It is the age of Aquarius. When your blood, sweat, and tears have been expended without yielding fruition or meaning, the grotesque is the spirit who will appear by your side. Yet behind the grotesque are two intact chalices, symbolic of powers and personal talismans to help you navigate social circumstances where you feel like the disfigured one, the outcast. Most of us do feel that way, don't we? The disfigured one, the outcast, right? Oh, yes. And to gift you with arcane powers that have always been reserved for the grotesque ones. Indeed. Your differences, which others have denigrated, are the very powers and talismans that will catapult you above all others and toward greatness. The grotesque is the spirit here to guide you on that daunting aspiration. An unseen power rising. Oh, yes. The bread of life. Ace of Orbs. Plenitude of resources. Earth is alchemizing in your world, materializing as an investment that yields fruition or a new undertaking in matters relating to personal economics and commerce. When this card appears to you, you are about to receive that which shall nourish you spiritually and bring you a sense of worldly prosperity. What is to come will feed the many. The Ace of Orbs endows you with beginning access to the sacred mysteries and the beginning stage of acquiring the gift of prophecy. You will achieve the capability to do what it is you seek to do. We're trying to feed the many, right? Not just with food, but with enlightenment. This almost feels like the Sun card to me. The bread of life, right? The Rogue. Another great card. The Rogue. 7 of Swords. People cringe at this, but it's a fact of life, the 7 of Swords. And we've all had to embody that energy in one way or another. The Rogue is mischief personified. Here you see the story of Loki cutting off Sif's beautiful golden locks of hair while she slept. Sif is the Norse goddess of the earth, of plenitude and the grains, affinity, fertility, family, marriage, mother of might and magnificence. She was also a seer. The mind, the thought plane, and the intellect are the weakening barriers to materialize success. The 7 of Swords denotes an unstable mind and unstable efforts. Perhaps. Or, the Rogue is the spirit of cunning and scheming. We see compromised integrity, yet the Rogue is also the personification of one who is misunderstood. So when this spirit appears to you, you are the rogue in pursuit of an undertaking that diverges from the mainstream. You may get blowback for it, and yet take heart that the toad on the lily pad is symbolic of a rainmaker, an omen of ambition that begets plenitude, while the snail calls in the grace of the eminence, which is the 9 of Orbs, the blessings of the 9 of Orbs. A little bit of roguish behavior is called for if you seek to achieve your goal. You are being challenged to confront an ethical dilemma. Will you choose to follow the rules or will you break them? So they're presenting trials in front of us. about unseen power rising, focusing on what we have instead of what we lack, and the bread of life. The haunt. Okay, Cathedral of the Damned. Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords. Let me find it. Here we go. Restful sleep eludes a figure who sits upright in a bed, face buried in hand, in slight fetal position. The astrological glyphs of planets and the signs stitched into the bedding signify the fate, circumstances, and consequences of your own action that you now lie in. This is also how you feel. You are haunted and bound by your fate. Behind the slatted wall of swords is a dark horned shadow. The shadow is the haunt. The background is an endless illusion of space, a seemingly endless, spacious, checkered room, emblematic of hermetic duality that leads through an archway to an endless hall. As Aleister Crowley calls it, this is the Cathedral of the Damned. This is anxiety personified. Anxiety about what your future holds, because, at least for the moment, your perception of your present is bleak. And yet, what the imagery of the Nine of Swords card reflects back to show you is that your perception is an illusion of space. Remember, I talked about that. The things that are going to be going on, try to keep that in the forefront of your mind. It's an illusion. Stay balanced. You feel despair over the cruelty in this world, and you are not wrong, but you are wrong about your helplessness. The haunt is the the haunt is the haunting of our own past actions, our inner demons that we have not resolved, our regrets, and the actions we have taken both against others and against ourselves. I would say that's actions or inactions we have taken both against others and ourselves. Okay? So I always correct that part, because to me it's both action or inaction. The haunt is also your spirit ally, and an appearance during divination made by the haunt could be this beneficent spirit detecting malefic energies or psychic poison arrows in your vicinity and alerting you to such a presence. Thus, the haunt is often assigned to conduct a full spiritual cleansing, banishing, and to engage in a more proactive shielding or personal protection rituals. Which, I think that's what they're indicating, because the golden shield is trying to protect you from psychic arrows coming from somebody that doesn't like you or doesn't want you to succeed. There's energies here that don't want us to succeed. So keep that in mind. Yeah, those last two cards are lining up with this card. Somebody's done some things behind your back. Roguish behavior that you'll need to shield yourself from. Somebody who covets and is envious of what you have. That's the reason the golden shield's there, is the underlying. Somebody's focusing on what they lack rather than what they have. Okay. But a card we really like to see, what to be mindful of and prepare for. The Ferryman, Six of Swords. That is the River Styx. It's named after the goddess. Another one of her many, many, many names. Six of Swords. All right. The ferryman navigates us to calmer waters. When the ferryman appears to you, you are about to embark upon a journey in the hopes of leaving behind turbulent waters and achieving earned success. The success factors that the ferryman endows you with are intellectualism, acute and accurate analysis, and claircognizance. Plans move forward. You are being guided across what you previously thought was an impossible obstacle to overcome. So that is the theme of the rest of October. Major enlightenment happening as the overall energy. Truth and clarity. It's truth and clarity about somebody who's been working in your background to undermine you. And being able to move on to calmer waters from that. Because their ability to undermine you will no longer stand. The aha moment. That's October. Make sure you watch the dailies and the weeklies throughout October. Some interesting things going on with a blue moon landing on Halloween. And the veil's super thin right now, so many of us are going to be getting a lot in our dreams. So pay attention to your dreams and any visions you might be getting. They are super important at this time, okay? Anyway, you are loved beyond all comprehension, beyond all reason. And don't forget, keep looking back at the readings, especially the big one, the divine instructions and guidance for the remainder of 2020. And then there is a link for Miss Kathy's channel, Divine Debut 11, on the astrology of the planets. And I hope you really, really take all that in. Anyway, talk to you soon.